started from scratch and built their empires to profitability. And that's the reason why Bizna Kenya and MC Moments have partnered to bring you Biz Talks. Biz Talks. And here we shall be hosting mentors, people who have gone ahead of us, people who have created these empires, people who have also on the verge of creating these particular big businesses. And these lessons will be valuable for you, the business person, for you, the aspiring business person, the entrepreneur, so that at least you can make wise decisions when it comes to building that business. So every Friday at 8 a.m. on all business platforms, that's the Facebook and YouTube channel. All right, welcome to Biz Talks and good morning. It's a very beautiful morning today. It's not very cold. We have some sun. So that means maybe this cold has decided to disappear somehow. But thank you so much for, of course, tuning into Biz Talks. Conversations we hope will inspire you, the business person, the aspiring business person, even you, the entrepreneur, whatever you are. We hope that will inspire you to keep on keeping on what you're doing. Today is going to be a little bit a nice tangent that I must say. It's more of a motivational because we have an inspirational person, a word-winning person here. He's going to be telling us more. I don't want to define so much, say so much about her, but first, as usual, let me welcome her up. Nzambi, welcome.
Thanks so much. How are you?
So now that I noticed you came in an interesting way, I'm sure some tea will not be very helpful. So what would you like from my desk here?
Water will be fine.
Some water. Okay, that would be good. That would be good. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to ask my team to help me with some cold water somehow. There's some cold water coming because what I have is warm. We're always ready for warm things here. But it's good to have you. Karibu sana.
Thanks so much.
And I must say, I'm so proud of you. You know, I was looking around about you and all that you're doing, and I was saying, who does this at this age? Especially, I don't know whether this is a conversation you will tell us how it has been with this industry, because it's a construction industry. And of course, let's be honest, it's a male-dominated industry. There are so many things that you would want to inspire us on. But before we start then, as the water is coming, would you care to tell us who is Nzambi? How do you tell people when people ask who is Nzambi?
I think that question varies every day. But I think for today, Nzambi is a founder. A founder of Tujenge Makers Limited.
Okay.
Tujenge, we manufacture alternative building products. Our first product line are pavers made out of plastic waste.
Okay.
Here there is no cement, it's just plastic and an aggregate, which is sand. During my other time, my spare time, I'm also a really talented dancer. Not to blow my own horn or anything, but I can bust some moves. Oh, you can bust some moves. Does that inform the reason why you're a bit stylish? Because I must say you're more stylish when I look at your hairstyle kind of thing. No, it's just because it's the most convenient.
For the kind of work that you do.
Yes.
Business people don't have time for.
No, I don't have time. I don't have 8 hours to go to a salon, or maybe 6.
Okay, that's interesting. So, you know, I would really want to jump in and ask you about Tujenge and tell us more about it. But before then, I want to know your journey first, because there must have been a reason why you decided to start this. But before you started this, what has been your journey like? Were you ever employed, maybe?
Yes, yes. Yes, I finished JKUAT in 2015. I graduated in 2015.
Yeah.
I then was employed as a data analyst at National Oil Corporation of Kenya.
Okay.
I was analyzing well data. That's essentially the oil and gas mining, or rather siphoning science.
Okay.
I did in JKUAT Bachelor of Science in Physics. I did major in Geophysics, minor in Material Science.
Yeah.
And so that's how I ended up in the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
So I stayed there for about two and a half years. And then while I was there, I realized there was this void. It's not that the job was bad. It's not that the team was bad. It was not anything about the job. It was just more about me.
Okay.
There was just a void that I couldn't feel. And every single day, the more I went to job, the more that void grew bigger.
Okay.
And one day I just snapped. And I said, I think I'm done.
And you're done. That's interesting, because I know you will tell us whether there are any regrets of what you did later on. Just to, of course, remind our viewers today that, you know, welcome to the show once again. If you just tuned in, it's very much inspirational, that kind of angle. And we hope to get inspired from how Nzambi started from wherever she started from, as you've heard, all the way up to the journey. Of course, as a reminder, it's always good to share this if you're watching us on Facebook. please invite one or two friends so that at least they can learn as well from that. Now, Nzambi, this is very interesting to know that you had your start and then now you're here. So let's talk about Jijenge now.
Okay.
What inspired you to start this?
So once in 2016 November, I wrote my resignation letter.
Mm-hmm.
And then in December, I spent the whole time just thinking and soul searching myself.
So hold on, did you resign once you got the idea, or did you resign even without the idea?
Oh, I had nothing.
That must have been frustrating, right? Okay.
It was by faith.
You are so done.
So yeah, in December, the whole of December 2016, I was just soul searching myself.
Okay.
And seeing what it is I love doing, because I realized in this world, if I'm not doing something I love, then I might as well not just do it.
Yeah.
So in December, I started soul searching, and I realized I'm relatively, I'm a handy person.
Okay.
Like
okay.
my skill is in my hands.
Okay.
So I started tinkering things, and to cut the long story short, this was the outcome.
No, no. I think there's some shortcut. Somebody was going to tell me you did not milk the questions out well. So yes, there's the tinkering things, and then this is the product. First of all, can I touch it a little?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to feel it. So you're saying the contents in here is this plastic, the recycled plastic you're talking about?
Yes.
And then you're talking about
An aggregate, which is sand.
the sand now.
Mm.
Is this more durable, by the way, than
Yes.
the other ones that we see? Because I see them breaking off anyhow, the other ones.
So this one, just to give you like a small, like a coach for the lack of a better word,
Yes.
in material science.
Yes.
So the plastic itself is fibrous in nature,
Mhm.
like it's string-like.
Yeah.
And so when at very high temperatures, it binds with sand.
Yeah.
And then we cool it at very high pressures, like we force it under very extreme pressures.
Yeah.
So what that does is it removes any air pockets.
Okay.
And then when it cools, there's the very limited air pockets.
Okay.
Now those air pockets are the reasons why most things break, because the product ends up being brittle.
Mm.
But because there's not much air pockets here compared to the normal concrete pavers,
Yeah.
this doesn't break that easily.
Wow. You know, I've just remembered how you came in, and I felt like I want to put you on the spot. So guys, Nzambi is actually, how do you call yourselves, guys? Are you riders? Is it? That's the word?
Yeah,
She's a rider, so she had to pass through the workshop in the morning,
Yes.
do her errands here and there. And by now, she's seated here, has already done a few things here and there. I must congratulate you on that.
Thanks so
and the
much.
fact that you know how to beat the traffic in Nairobi.
Ah, yes.
Now, that's quite an inspiration, because now, I tagged this entire interview from trash to cash,
Yes.
because I saw you one day say something like that somewhere in a video.
Yeah.
So all these, how much trash does it need? How much plastic does it need to come up with just this?
So that's about 1.4 kilograms. And
It's because it's quite weighty. I can feel it. Yeah.
It's 1.4 kilograms.
Yeah.
And about 500 is plastic
Wow.
of that.
Okay.
It's just because the plastic is the binder. So
Yeah.
the what cement performs in the
Uh-huh.
normal concrete here is replaced with plastic.
Okay.
So imagine if that's just one.
Mhm.
Imagine if you have a driveway where you need maybe 100,000 pavers. Multiply
That's
that.
quite massive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So take us through the process now.
Uh-huh.
So you have gotten trash. First of all, where do you get the trash from?
So right now we collect from two major sources. We have what we call the post-industrial and what we call the post-consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So post-industrial is that plastic we get from factories, so the plastic packaging factories mostly.
Yeah.
And then the post-consumer is once you and I finish consuming whatever it has been packaged in plastic,
Yeah.
you take it to the trash.
Mhm.
From the trash is taken to a recycler.
Yeah.
The recycler does something called palletizing, essentially just make it to small chips so that it can make other plastics.
Okay.
And then during that process there is waste. Now that waste is what we collect. That's what we call post-consumer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just forgotten that we forgot about your water.
Yeah.
I just want to remind my team that we need some cool water here for our guest. Okay, so you've gotten the trash. I like the separation. So what comes in next? You have, as you said, I had some heat processing thing that happens.
Yeah.
That must be serious industrial work there.
Yeah, yeah. So once we get the plastic,
Yeah.
we crush it into small pieces.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you got the water. Thank you so much for bringing it in. Shout out, that's Ivy. on the shot. Excellent. Thanks a lot for that. Okay. So, well, please go ahead now. At least
So-
you've cooled down a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. So once we get the plastic, we shred it into small pieces. We then mix it, literally just mixing it with sand.
Yeah.
And then if, like for example, you see this is a maroon reddish brick, so
Yeah.
that's why we put the color pigment in that
Okay.
stage. And then we feed it in a machine called an extruder.
Okay.
So what an extruder does is at very high temperatures, it
Yes.
takes the plastic and mixes it with sand.
Okay.
And maybe if you can remember your high school physics,
Yes.
impurities increase the melting point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
I remember something like that.
Yes. So the sand, when you take the sand and you mix it with the plastic, and also the plastic is because it's waste,
Mhm.
it has a lot of impurities,
Yeah.
and so we melt it at very high temperatures. Maybe it goes sometimes between 300 to 400 degrees centigrade,
Mm-hmm.
and then the outcome is, for the lack of a better word, like uncooked ugali.
Okay.
That's the outcome. Looks like
Yeah,
ugali
I can imagine.
before you
The lana ugali, the lana ugali. Let's call it
Yes,
that.
Yes, that one. And then you take that ugali and then you feed it in the next machine called a hydraulic press.
Okay.
Now the explanation I was giving you at cooling it at very high pressures.
Okay.
Now that's what the hydraulic press does, and that is the outcome.
Wow. So, we have such an amazing product, but I heard you mention some machines there.
Yes.
There's a hydraulic one. I mean, I
Extruder.
don't want to fail on my physics here. And then there's a bit of the heating one.
Yes.
Are these machines that you got here locally?
Yes, we fabricated them ourselves.
So you fabricated them yourself. That's another journey.
Yes.
So, and I know maybe I'm juggling this conversation much, but I know that you're helping other people as well start this kind of business.
Yes.
So you are the one making the machines as well.
Yes.
What does it take? I mean, honestly, you didn't learn this in school.
No.
So what are you doing?
It's a series of trial and error.
Mhm.
That's essentially what research and development is.
Okay.
So we knew after research and development, we made one brick.
Okay.
And we knew now that how to make one brick, but you cannot build a road with one brick.
Yeah.
So we needed to know how to make 1,000,
Yeah.
and that needed machines.
Yeah.
So then we scoured the internet to look for machine fabricators, and we didn't get exactly what we wanted.
Okay.
And then, and in addition to that, what we got, the prices were extraordinarily high.
Okay.
So we decided if Mohammed cannot go to the mountain,
Yeah.
we will bring the mountain to Mohammed. And so we started in 2019, we started the machine fabrication process.
Okay.
So maybe 1 year down the line, I think we have a pretty state-of-the-art, once again, not to blow my own horn, but state-of-the-art machines, I think. Yeah.
So, okay, how many machines have now crossed your hands?
No, it's not that much.
Okay.
We've done 3. We have
Okay.
3.
Okay.
But essentially, or rather ideally,
Mhm.
a production line entails 5. So we kind of have 2 more. But at the moment, those 2 more we outsource. So that's why.
So, in a day, how many bricks can you make of this sort? Because as you said, you know, a road is not one brick, there are many of them.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the demand and supply first. But in a day, how many bricks can you make?
So with the current capacity, we produce between 1,000 to 1,500 pieces a day.
1,000 to 1,500. How long can those ones cover? Is it a room?
Ideally, it's about plus minus about 33 square meters.
Okay.
One square meter is 44 pieces.
Okay. So let me ask, and maybe I'm asking for a friend and myself. These ones can be used, yes, on roads, is
Yes,
it?
yes.
Where else can they be used?
So currently, right now, we are putting them in households, in car parks, in roads. The only difference varies with the thickness.
Okay.
Because in car parks, you need, like it's not heavy machinery passing, especially like a household,
Yeah.
where as compared to roads where you have really heavy machinery,
Yeah.
so you need the big one.
Okay.
But as
So
far
this is, what size is it? This is the sort of like smaller version?
no, that's the medium duty.
Oh,
We
this is
have
the
a
medium.
light duty, smaller than that, and then we have the medium duty, and then we have the heavy duty, and then we have one
Okay.
that's called jumbo.
Oh, jumbo is bigger than...
Yes, it's like twice that.
Okay, so the medium one, is that the smallest? No, this is the medium.
Yes, that's the
Then you said
medium.
there's the smaller one.
Yes.
That's one, that's for walkways or something?
Yeah, and households, like
And households.
like compounds.
Okay, okay. Then this one can be used, this is the medium
Commercial,
now.
yeah, this is for commercial parking.
Commercial packing. And then now there's the
The large one,
large
which
one?
is for roads,
For
like
roads.
any maybe access roads, estate roads.
Okay.
And then maybe areas like where there's highways or some like heavy machineries, you now use the jumbo one. It's 80 millimeters.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I love the weight on this. It feels like it's very durable. There's something about it, you know? I saw you throw one down. It didn't even crash.
Yes, it does.
We'll talk about that. But now, for now, let's talk about the demand and supply and whether you have, first of all, a quick answer to this. Have you been successful?
Success is a very, what do I call it? Vague
Yes.
question.
It's a term with many things, yes.
Yeah, yeah, but in the context of the product, I can say our challenge right now is not demand, it's
Yeah.
supply.
It's supply.
Yes, that's our challenge.
I like that. So that means you have had a constant customer base that is growing.
Yes, very rapidly.
What are
I
the
must say.
sentiments from the customers?
So first of all, with the product,
Yeah.
we've gotten some really good feedback.
Okay.
Of course, there's also that which we need to improve on.
Yeah.
So with the feedback, with the good feedback, first of all, we have gotten a lot of applause for
Yes.
the outlook,
Yeah.
because we can make, the beauty about using plastic is you can put as many color variations as you want.
Oh yeah, because like this one is this is like I'm very bad with colors. I don't want
I
to try
know.
this.
Me too,
I
I'm
want to
not the
call it
best.
red, and this is not red. This
It
is
looks like maroon.
this is
looks
maroon,
like,
eh?
yeah, something along that line.
Yeah.
But so we have, like right now, we have, according to the color spectrums, we can produce about 62 colors.
62 colors.
Yeah, and that's
so
the
that
beauty
if my
about-
house is green, I will have some green things.
Yes, you have about like 4 shades of green. Which green do you want? So that's a beauty about it. And then the other one is, so they don't break easily also.
Okay.
So during transit, if it leaves the factory 30 pieces, you will find in your site 30 pieces. That's the first
Wow.
one. And then compared to the normal concrete, it's lighter. It's about a 3/4 the weight. And so therefore you can transport more for less.
Actually, that's the unique point as well, because you know, normal concrete stuff is one color. You know, there's nothing you
Yeah.
can do much about it. So this one you see 62 colors.
Yes, right now. But we're looking to increase that number. With every day that number increases.
It looks like they can also be used on walls if you want to beautify.
Yes, we are trying now to, the next stage of research and development is how we can use it for cladding. We've gotten a lot of contractors asking for that aspect, and so that's the research and development we're doing to see how it can be used in cladding.
Okay, I love this. I love this, and I know for anybody who's building and is thinking about how do I make my compound look a little bit neater and all that kind of thing, this is the place to fall in. So now we're talking about the demand and the supply, and you say so far so good. So if I may ask you, have you made any road, any kind of contracts that you would really say, wow, this was a game changer?
Yeah, I think for us every project is a game changer because we learn something. So the first one is, the first project we ever did was actually a school.
Yeah.
And that one was like an eye-opener for us because we were able to do like all sorts of colors. We were able to do, because it's a walkway for children.
Yeah.
And it was like a project
Well,
close to my
kids
heart.
would be very happy with you know, those kind of colors.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, they like it. It's funky.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. But for us, in terms of the project, right now we've been doing a lot of B2C. B2C is business to customer. Essentially, those are households, individual people
Yeah.
within Nairobi mostly who want their compounds done. As I told you earlier, our supply is still low. So we're trying to ramp that up so that we can go after now the likes of contractors and construction companies.
You know, what you're saying is what most business people as well face. Sometimes you have a lot of demand and you're not able to meet the demand that is in the market. So as you said, yes, you're looking forward to expanding, but how are you addressing this so that at least, because you know, we have business people who are watching, people who are about to construct, maybe I'm also one of them, I might also as well place a demand here. How are you planning to address this? I know it's a challenge, as you've said, that you face. Of course, you will be telling us more about some of the challenges, but how are you planning to address this?
So the immediate response will be another production line.
Yeah.
Because the one which we currently have, we are almost maxing it out. So we need essentially another production line. Like by the end of maybe Q2, Q3,
Yeah.
we're looking to about triple that amount, maybe
Yeah.
move to 3,000 to 4,500 pieces a day. And then the other thing will be now to diversify.
Yeah.
Because we have realized we find a lot of, especially within the household market, a lot of people want those funky shapes.
Yes.
So you not only get the color, but you also get the nice shape.
Okay.
So that would be another thing to diversify. So other than increasing the production, we'll also diversify the product portfolio.
Wow, that's beautiful. By the way, before I prompt our viewers, where are you based?
So we are based at Avon Center in Enterprise Road in Industrial Area.
Okay. Wow. Well, viewers, you know, this is purely inspirational, trash to cash, and, you know, I mean, it can't be put in any way better. Nzambi here putting it as it is. So if you have any questions for her, please feel free to throw in, because this is a build-up kind of conversation where we are getting to learn from one another. So feel free to engage us as well. And of course, tell a friend to tell a friend, you know, by sharing this conversation that we have in here. So Nzambi, you know, as I say it again, one of the challenges that you put across is purely meeting the demand that you have. What are the challenges over this journey have you faced as you were developing this amazing product?
So maybe let me start with the technical ones.
Yeah.
So as I stated earlier, the machines, we made them ourselves.
Yeah.
And it was a series of trial and error. And so even up to today, we're still learning the process and how the machines work.
Yeah.
So we've been having a lot of because once again, we currently just have one production line and we work 24 hours.
Yeah.
So sometimes we tend to push the machine to the extreme limits.
Okay.
So it tends to break once in a while.
Yeah.
But once we get the other production line, we hope to have that sorted.
Wow.
The other now challenge we have faced is all this is plastic waste, so we don't use virgin plastic.
Yes.
We use waste plastic.
Yeah.
And the quality of waste plastic varies because you find like the plastic you get from factories is ideally one type, but the plastic you get from the environment, the post-consumer, is like all sorts of plastics.
Okay.
And the quality also varies because there's some which have stayed in the environment for quite some time. And so that might tend to compromise the integrity. However, for us, we're still working on finding a blend that will provide the same quality through and through. Fortunately, we've been able to have that figured out.
Yeah.
The other challenge now we are working on is, once again, in the context of using waste plastic, the plastic comes in different colors. So you find some are maybe green, some are red. And so when you combine them, when you mix all colors, essentially they bring one color, which is black.
Oh.
So when you add red on black, now also the shade of black varies.
Okay.
So when you add red on black, you find if this color is red oxide, when you add the red oxide, you find some red oxide, some bricks are slightly darker.
Okay.
It's still red, but the shade is slightly darker.
Okay.
So now that's something we are working on too.
You're working on to do that. You know, I beg to still ask another question I had thrown in. 1.5, did you say this is 1.5 kilos
1.4
of 1.4 kilos of trash here?
No, mix.
Oh, the mix now,
Yeah,
the food mix.
The mix.
So are you friends with the guys of Dandora? Because I know when we talk about trash, that's where heaps of trash are.
Yeah.
Do you fetch some from those sides?
So we get them from different areas. So like, for example, within the Dandora areas, there's the people who collect, the recyclers, the recyclers, ones who collect, who have yards.
Yeah.
And so for us, because we don't want to do the collection part, because that's a whole other business model, we partner with them.
Okay.
And so they still do the collection and everything, but now they supply to us.
Okay.
So that's how, yes. So if the answer is yes, we collaborate with them very closely.
I know you said this was a trial and error until it worked. Were you afraid?
Yes. Yes, I was very afraid because I'd put my money, my sweat, and everything, and it's trial and error. You have two options. It works or it fails, but either way you learn.
Yeah. So how many employees do you have in this now?
So currently we're a team of 10.
10?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, because a lot of the work has been done by the machines, right?
Yes, but also ideally we're still a startup.
Yeah.
Officially 2020 was our first year in market, in fact 2020 August, because the whole of 2019 were just building machines. So in the beginning of 2020 we were getting certified by the relevant authorities.
Yes.
So 2020 was officially our first year in market, and so we're still a relatively small team, but we're growing rapidly, if I may say.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking about authorities, have they been supportive, or have you had to jump up and down trying to convince them that they need to approve you?
On the contrary, I must say I've gotten a lot of support, especially from the Kenya Bureau of Standards and also the State Department of Housing. So for the Kenya Bureau of Standards, because this is a relatively new product in the market, and so in terms of the ISO standards, there's no one that can work exactly for us.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So we collaborated with them for almost about 2 months to come up with a standard, what we call the manufacturer spec, and to use that to standardize, or rather to give us the certification.
Okay.
So, and that process was relatively easy.
Yeah.
As far as looking to scale and to grow, we've gotten also interest. In fact, we're scheduling a meeting with the State Department. They're looking to have this product in one of their projects.
Yeah.
And so stay tuned. We're gonna soon work on trash.
So, you know, you've told me you've supplied and you have gotten very good feedback from your clients. And I must say, this looks very amazing. I mean, from the touch that I can feel, it feels very nice, even from the touch and even the weight. So, you know, my question will be, and I know maybe you've already touched on it, what would you say is the strength of your company's side vis-a-vis, of course, what we all know, the concrete things that they do? Why would you endear someone to think, go in this direction instead of just the usual?
So Jijenge Pavers, our value proposition is 3. We're stronger, it's lighter, and it's cheaper.
Okay.
So it's stronger.
Oh, it's actually cheaper.
Yes, it's stronger in the context of this one carries 3 to 7 times the strength, depending on the size of normal concrete.
Okay.
That's heavily because of the explanation I told you earlier. It's less brittle compared to concrete.
Yeah.
Therefore, it increases something called the compression strength. It's lighter. It's almost 3/4 the weight.
Yes.
And so during transit, you can get more. You can transport more with the same container. Like for example, a lorry.
Yeah.
And then the other one is cheaper. It's cheaper in the context of strength.
Yeah.
So for example, like this one, the one you're holding, it holds a compression strength of 152 Newton millimeter square. That's the unit of measure. But if you compare that with concrete, it holds anything between 40 to 80.
So hold on. You know, we want to use a simple language for me.
Okay.
So you're saying the weight it can withhold is those crazy amounts you've just mentioned?
Yeah. It's almost 2 to 3 times the
concrete one.
Yes.
Yeah, because I see they look, you know, honestly, let's just have an honest conversation. And I have looked at these concrete ones when they make roads, they look nice. But when they start breaking up into those pieces, you're like, now, what's all this? So you're saying these ones are more durable and can withhold even those trucks that pass there and break them up?
Comfortably.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. Now, let me just read a comment here. Of course, Abdi Hassan, salute to you. Thanks so much for always being a follower who is very keen in making many comments. Now, somebody's asking, congratulations, Zambi, for doing something for humanity. My question, have you received any funding from government or NGOs at the forefront in fighting for the environment?
So yes, we've gotten a lot of support because this building the machines is not an easy task, and neither is it a cheap task.
Yeah.
And so yes, we got a lot of, because in the beginning we applied for a lot of grants, especially research and development grants, to be able to prove the concept.
Okay, that's good, that's good. Somebody else, Judith, is asking that you should work on an intellectual property patent to reap the full benefits of your work. Are you afraid that people are going to copy you up?
So I have a theory. If someone is not copying me, then I'm not doing the right thing. But yes, we are in the process of getting a patent.
Hey, no, you have to say that again. If someone is not copying you,
I'm not doing anything worth it.
So you're not afraid of anybody trying to copy you?
Copy me, my friend. If you want, I'll help you.
Go on.
But
I like that principle.
still have the patent. You give me the royalties.
Hey, you know, actually, there could be a whole discussion on that about, do you allow people to copy? Do you patent your idea? Do you, well, I like how you stand strong on that. There's another person who's asking, I think it's a comment, the concept of plastic recycling is $1 billion business. But do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, that's true.
You're an example, right?
Yes, yeah, the plastic industry is, or rather the plastic waste space.
Yes.
It's because they say there's a plastic the size of almost Texas. Once again, I don't know the area coverage of Texas. I just read on Stat.
Yeah.
But the point is, imagine how enormous that is. And
Okay.
imagine how impact it can be when it's done something of value.
Wow. Okay. So the person goes on and says that he's interested to know more about your products so that you can engage in future business. I don't know what extra that they want to know more. Is there something more that you need to add?
I think it varies what you want to know.
Okay.
What I've told you is the basic, but you see, as a customer, you have your own personal concerns, so you can address that as
Okay.
more.
Let me try and attempt and then correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mike, you have a product here that can withstand more weight than the normal concrete, that can come in varying colors from, what was the color for this?
Say maroon.
From maroon to other different colors. So you said 62 colors.
Yes, currently you have 62 shades.
So is it whatever color I see of plastic can be?
Yeah, and also it's just also a matter of shade.
Okay.
For example, like I said, we have like 4 ranges of green. So we have a red, we can have 2.
Okay.
We have a shade, a bit 2 shades of white. So it varies.
Can there be this can be a shade of white?
Yes.
That means even yellow.
Yes, but the yellow is not a very strong pigment.
Okay.
So when you put it on black, it's kind of absorbed in a swallow.
Okay, I get it. Okay, amazing. So I think I have gotten a lot of concept out of
Yeah,
this.
and maybe just to add on him, because the one question we always expect, and I am surprised that he's not asked, is the
Yes.
aspect of plastic and fire. That's a question we get all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because plastic is very flammable.
Yeah.
So to go back to the statement I stated earlier, impurities increase the melting point. And in this brick, it's a mixture of plastic and sand.
Yes.
So the sand acts as an impurity. And so for that, it raises the melting point from 125
Okay.
to 450 degrees centigrade.
Okay.
So by then, we as human beings will not be existing,
Okay.
just to answer the question.
Of course, you could be beaten up by environmentalists, some of them saying, yes, you're saving one side of the environment, but how do you control so that you're not polluting too much?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand those dynamics, and we're constantly working on that, especially around the aspect of microplastics.
Yeah.
But as we currently speak, this is the one way we're developing it,
Yeah.
but we're constantly thinking of what are the ways, because for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, that's
so we
true.
need to figure out how to deal with that too.
Okay, love that. So let's get to, by the way, how was this COVID season for you?
For us, it was, unlike most businesses, a good one.
Oh,
Because
people are still constructing.
yeah, people actually not constructing. The construction companies, most of them had halted
Okay.
because, of course, the economic strain. But for us, we launched during COVID. In fact,
Yeah.
we launched the product at the height of
Yeah.
COVID. And for us, it was good because, so working during COVID is all we know.
Yeah.
We don't have any reference prior to that. And so for us, it was a good year because it was our first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the awards that you have brought home, let's talk about you being a woman and leading in such a very unique, I must call it unique, environmental friendly business. How has it been for you?
It's been a series of highs and lows, if I
Okay.
may say. Of course, the aspect of being a woman in a very male-dominated space has its perks and also its challenges. Especially to prove yourself in the beginning, it was
Yes.
hard.
Okay.
It was really hard.
Okay.
But now, of course, you have like your work to speak for you.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was a big challenge because we live in the context, or rather in the African culture setup, and so the patriarchy pressure, if I may call it that,
Yeah.
tends to be a bit extreme.
Okay.
But on the flip side of that is you get to raise some eyebrows and you
Yeah.
attract very interesting or curious people.
Yeah.
And so if well used, that's a really good asset.
Okay. I like the innovation, and I must call you an innovator. We are almost coming to a close of this conversation, but of course, let's now talk about the good things that have happened over the time. There was an award I read somewhere by the UN. Tell us about it.
So we are in Jijenge, we are the winners of UNEP Young Champions of the Earth Award.
Young Champions of the Earth.
Yes.
Which year now? That
2020.
is 2020.
Yes.
Wow, congratulations for that.
Thanks so much.
What does that mean, by the way?
So essentially, the Champions of the Earth Award, there is the one which is for I don't want to call adult, but
Yeah.
senior adult.
Yeah.
And then there's now this one for youth, essentially people below the age of 29.
Mhm.
For us, getting this award has been a huge honor. First of all, it has been a huge moral boost
Yeah.
because we're a team of just young people, and we have been doing a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And half the time, our friends and families are saying, "Are you still sure you're still on the right track?" And so, having the UNEP award has been a huge validation
Wow.
for
Yeah,
our
that's
product
true.
and our
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
And then also we have gotten a lot of media coverage, like for example, as you can see here.
Yes.
So that has really opened our market
Yeah.
and opened our solution to more audience.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think this is just the beginning.
Have you gotten some international requests? Or?
Yes, we've gotten a lot of people who want to do, who want to have them shipped. The challenge you're having is this is not like something like one thing you can just ship
Yeah.
using any like shipping line service.
Yeah.
These things are usually bulky.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to figure out the logistic behind, but we've
moving
gotten
them,
a lot
yeah.
of interest from US and Europe.
I have a suggestion. I hear that the SGR cargo one brings in a lot of goods and almost goes down empty.
Yeah.
So you can have conversations with them. They can go down with the.
Yeah, I think it's time we start. We're just working on understanding the standards
Yeah.
because different continents have different
Oh, yeah,
standards.
definitely. Yeah.
But once we like we go beyond that, I think this is just the beginning.
So as you said, there are certain specifications that need to be done. Like for concrete, you could tell that this one has met the ISO standards. So is there any place in the world where they have some ISO standards of these things, or are they in the development stages?
I am not quite sure at the moment, but
Yeah.
I know the solution or rather the concept has been replicated in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming if they don't have, they have some. They're currently developing something.
Okay. Someone may ask, do they burn?
Burn like fire.
Like if there was a fire, it's going to be more worse.
Yeah, just to say yes. A lot of materials burn.
Yeah.
The impact
definitely.
is the melting point,
Okay.
or rather the point where they just can't hold
yeah.
anymore.
Okay.
So, for example, for sand, which is silica, it's very high. It's in
Okay.
the like thousands.
Okay.
For plastic, it's very low. It's
Yeah.
maybe in the maybe hundreds.
Okay.
But the variation comes when how you. That's the concept when it comes to materials, where if you find the perfect blend,
Yeah.
then you get to not only increase the material
Yeah.
in terms of the strength, the melting point, but also the integrity. And that's
Anyway.
what we've done here.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, let's talk about affordability. You say they're cheaper, yes, but somebody may be asking, I'm about to buy the, what are they called? Sorry, man. I mean, they are the concrete words, okay? I'm about to buy them, and now I've just gotten to know Nzambi has this. So they might consider. I don't know whether you can speak on percentages or what. How much percentage can you save them if this is going to be cheaper?
So if you compare it, so it's cheap in the context of strength. For example, if you were to use maybe the big one in terms of application,
Yeah.
maybe on roads where you need the thick one, here you
Yeah.
don't need to get the thick one. You
Yeah.
can just get the medium duty.
Okay.
So which is essentially about 20% cheaper than the thick one.
Okay.
And so it's in such dynamics. So that one varies from side to side. So
Okay.
once you come, you can talk, but I can promise you I'll save your coin.
All right, let me just jump into some of the comments we have in here. That, you know, you're an inspiration to many girls, many women across Kenya and Africa. What would be your advice, especially to ladies who are looking for jobs and who are considering venturing into entrepreneurship?
I think the first one is first, just do something you love. If nothing else, have the joy that after every day you're tired, but you're doing something you love. So venture into something you love.
Wow,
That,
okay.
I think that's all I can say.
Yeah, whatever is in your hands, get down to it.
Yeah, as
and
long
do
as
it
as
well.
long as it makes your heart beat,
Yes,
because that is the fuel, especially in hard times.
yeah.
That heartbeat is the fuel.
How's your day like? You know, you've just said that and I'm like, wow, okay. What time do you open? What time do you close? Do you have such things?
Yeah. So opening and closing varies.
Yeah.
Like the last week I had like 2 days of not closing, so
Yeah.
I did like 48 hours
Yeah.
non-stop.
Okay.
But in terms of an ideal day, I'll start maybe work. I'll start around 7,
Yeah.
and all the way to about 9:30, 10. But ideally, most of it is running up and down. So right now, as stated earlier, we're a relatively a small team, and
Yeah.
so we are jack of all trades.
Okay.
So I'm in the production, I'm the sales guy, I'm the, I'm the delivery guy.
Okay.
And then I have my team, there's one who's also production. Everyone is production,
Okay.
and then something else. So
All right. So what would be what's like your dream now with this? Now that you've already started, you're on the journey, you're getting recognized. What is your future like?
my future is to be a leader in alternative building products.
Okay.
Because I believe that's a space that, first of all, there's a lot of potential. It's a blue ocean,
Yeah.
and also it's a space where it's necessary. And also putting into consideration right now in Kenya, there's a lot of construction, there's a lot of like building everywhere. I think that's a really space to watch out for. In terms of growth, we want to be able to not only just do horizontal. Right now, we're just doing horizontal, which are the pavers. We want to go vertical, make an actual building blocks.
Okay.
The materials we've not still yet decided, but the idea is to provide alternative, sustainable, affordable building products.
Wow, and that's part of the Sustainable Development Goals. I can tell why
Yes.
there's a celebration globally. Finally, I mean, if I may throw into you, now that we know your dream and you've told us to do what we can with what makes our heart beat, you know, my final question to you would be this. You know, there are so many hurdles that business people have to cross,
Yeah.
you know? Have you ever felt like, what did I do? Have you had those kind of moments?
Yes, yes. Those moments are inevitable. In fact, I had one like 2-3 days ago. But the point is,
That's soon.
yeah, it's because it's just, it reaches a point you give it your all
Yeah.
and you don't see the output.
Okay.
And then that makes you think, of course, as a human being, am I doing the right thing? Or where did I go wrong? Or what did I do? But then I always fall back to why I started this in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I usually say when you are true to your why, the other things make sense.
Wow. Wow. You know, Henry Waweru has just said that he likes your vigor, the eloquence. Good job.
Actually, not the best in English. It's just, this is the English for the TV. Let us meet in the streets.
Tupatane kule, vitu kwa ground ni different.
You will know because of why.
All right. I mean, I'm really amazed by this. And I mean, I must say this is an inspiration. And thank you so much really for showing up and really giving us all this inspiration. We've had a lot of comments, people saying, wow, this is very beautiful and all. I don't know what would be your parting shot, especially to anyone watching, anybody thinking about entrepreneurship, somebody thinking about such, wow, and feeling like, wow, this lady. What would you tell them?
I think the first step is start.
Yeah.
The second thing is do something you love.
Yeah.
The third thing is be true to your why. And the fourth thing is, if nothing else, find yourself a really good team. Because I get the feeling as there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of like acclamation and celebration to the leads, the CEOs, the MDs, the really big organizational positions.
Yeah.
But you forget the fact that without the team, those people are just nothing but just titles. And
Wow.
for me, I am fortunate enough to have a really good team. So shout out to Jijenge team because those guys do magic.
They do magic.
Yes, they do
Wow.
magic.
Shout out from BizTalks as well, you know, keep doing what you're supposed to do because now you can hold her and she's here and you're still doing the magic, is it? You know, I just forgot to tell you that you said, you know, you have had those particular moments when you feel, what is this? So I forgot to ask you, but what is this that keeps you going then?
I think, first of all, is when you make when we made the first brick, the first one, it was not good. It was bad. It was bad. But the point is, it proved the concept. We removed something from here and we actualized it.
Yeah.
And that has always been the journey. Like, okay, we sit down as a team, we're like, okay, we're having this challenge. How, like, for example, right now we are working on like making it like really look good as far as the finishing and all that stuff.
It looks very good.
And so we sit down and we're like, okay, how do we get that? And we come up with ideas, we brainstorm and we execute it and it comes out. And for me, that's the joy.
Wow.
That joy of just bringing something from your head and bringing it to real life, for me, that's a joy. And then also I like the fact that when, after all that, I see the joy in the team. Like, for example, we have one guy, he says, I am the professor. I'm like, wow, that is borderline cockiness, but I love your courage. I love your confidence. I love your confidence in yourself. And I realized he says that every time we hit the target, every time we hit the milestone. And that's also a joy for me. But the bottom line is, this makes me breathe.
Wow.
Other than dance, this makes me breathe.
Very true. And you know, 10 people under you now, you're creating employment and all. Speaking of which, you know, there's been a lot of conversations about youth employment, the unemployment that we have. And I know you have already said, you know, do what you love. Somebody may be watching and saying, Sasa, where do I even start? You know, all those kind of things. I know you may have said something about inspiring them up, but I want you to address as well the youth.
Okay.
A youth somewhere looking at you. First of all, address a youth. And of course, a lady just like you saying, wow, I admire what Nzambi is doing. You just final take, and then we'll close this.
You do realize you said final like about
I know,
two
like,
times.
I know, right?
It's becoming a Kenyan
This
pasta.
is Kenya. The Kenya pasta.
Yeah, they say ya mwisho.
Go on.
The point is, first of all, to all the youth, I think it's time we reinvent and re-establish what we develop, or rather the solutions we build and what we want as the future.
Yeah.
And just do it take the matters in your own hands and do it. And when you start, don't mind starting small and starting cheaply, so that when you fail fast and you fail cheaply.
Wow.
Because if you fail fast and you fail cheaply, you learn the lessons very fast and you learn the lessons cheaply. So that when you scale, you already know the landscape. And then to the women, I think sometimes we tend to have the fear, like control that. But the fear of the unknown is just the norm of life. And you'll never know until you try. So just do it.
You'll never know until you try. You see why I had to say another final?
Pastor wa Kenya.
No, because he had a lot of things inside still. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. Henry asked where you located again. Maybe you can tell them, and then we can close.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are located at Avon Center, Enterprise Road. The building is next to Nairobi Remand Prison.
Okay. Okay. There you have it, Henry. Thank you so much once again for coming.
Thanks
So
much.
this is mine, right?
Yeah, you can keep it.
Oh, asante sana, and of course to thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. I hope you have been inspired by Nzambi, an amazing journey in what you know, she has been doing. So we really want to appreciate the fact that, you know, start where you are, start with what you have, what makes you heartbeat, as she has said. And we'll keep having these amazing conversations on Biz Talk to inspire you to grow so that you can be even amazingly better in whatever God has put in your heart to do. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you. Keep working. Biz Talks. Bye-bye. Now, everybody has a different story when it comes to building a business. To some, it's never an easy task to partake. And to some, they have very good stories of how they started from scratch and built their empires to profitability. And that's the reason why Bizna Kenya and MC Moments have partnered to bring you Biz Talks. Biz Talks. And here we shall be hosting mentors, people who have gone ahead of us, people who have created these empires, people who have also on the verge of creating these particular big businesses. And these lessons will be valuable for you, the business person, for you, the aspiring business person, the entrepreneur, so that at least you can make wise decisions when it comes to building that business. So every Friday at 8 a.m. on all business platforms, that's the Facebook and YouTube channel, and of course MC